today's episode of Speak Out with Charis, and I am Charis Agilibi. Welcome. On today's episode, we're here with Miss Juliet Jackson. She's a graduate from the University of Benin, and she's here to tell us a little bit about herself and about her story. So, Miss Juliet, you look beautiful today.
Thank you very much. And you too.
Thank you. So, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
So, how's everything been with you?
Yeah, fine. I'm an upcoming actress.
Okay.
I'm into events management.
Okay.
Basically, we're hustling. We're trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Also make sure that something goes on for the team.
That's nice. So, when you talked about your story, when you sent your story to us, you talked about growing up when you were a child, how you were molested and all of that. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. I talked about I said psychological rape.
Yeah.
And of course, most people don't understand what psychological rape is.
True.
So mine was just tough. Just terrible. Let me use the word terrible because as a child, as a minor at that age, the kind of pictures that was stuck in my head and the things I was doing, of course, passing to so many other people and all that. So growing up for me, I was the let-free child. Like my mom and dad. My dad's very, very strict. My mom, not really that strict, but then my dad is always a workaholic. Then he was always traveling. He's a businessman. He's into interior decorations. So he's always traveling to get things, get that. Then my mom too was not, she was not always, she's a mom, but she's not this kind of mom that always,
She wasn't always there.
They're talking,
Yeah.
I was a Joffrey child that always wanted to give them details of what happened in school.
Okay.
But then you were tagging me as, it's okay. But then I was like, okay.
Understand.
So at the point,
You're a happy child.
I was like to gist them, this is what happened in school today, but then we're not keeping it. My mom will either have time to just with her friends or like, go, understand, send me away. My siblings too, sometimes they will listen, sometimes they don't listen. So when these things started happening, I wasn't able to talk again because then everybody shut me up.
So, what's this thing that we're talking about? What's this thing?
Okay, it was not like my dad didn't really made it happen though. Stan, he's the kind of person that buys movies. He just picks. You understand? So this time we have this chef where we put movies like this is kids zone, this is adult zone, this is, and then we just get to pick up the movie that you want to watch. So at this point, they've cleaned up the sitting room, and then you just know, due to our scattering and all that, the movies have they've swapped, and then the next thing we picked up a movie. We have our parlor, we have children's parlor, but then we always go there to pick up from the adult. So we picked it up and then we fixed it, and then the next thing we were watching was a porn.
Oh wow!
So it was a movie, but then it was from the beginning to the end.
At what age did this happen?
I was 7.
Oh, okay.
So from the beginning to the end, it was the porn. So
that really scarred you.
And my kind of first thing, I've seen that kind of a thing. Everyone of my siblings can forget that, but me to think like, oh God, I don't forget things, and I really don't forget things. So it stuck to my head, and I just started. I couldn't tell friends because me, I'm this kind of person that always tell them. But then I just started because then there was this man, which my friend, she's like not the best friend, but then she was someone that I could walk to school together, we go to school together and all that. And then she was always telling me what she watches this man do from my own building. You understand? So there is a construction site.
Okay.
So I think the man's an architect. So he will come up and watch what's going on, and then he'll go back. You understand? So he'll make sure he'll see what they've done, what they've bought, and all that. So he started coming to our house to get water because then my dad's house has a borehole. So he will always come to get water. Before it was not him, and suddenly he was the one coming. And then he saw me, I was the one, the marketer, like selling. And I was like, he said, how much is a full tank? It was like 1.5. Then he was like, I'll give you 5,000.
Wow. Okay.
I was 7 to 8. So I was like, I had 5,000. I was like, okay. I was like, that is it. And they started like to buy stuff, But then my parents don't like us going out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really cost bad, like it cost bad and so on because then thank God for God though. Like God is always, protecting.
Always.
Always protecting. Like he would go out and they will lock the door outside, padlock or key, and then they'll fling the key inside for us, like stay indoor.
So naturally we're caged.
So all of us, instead we had what we wanted, but then we're like, what shall we go outside? Like what the hell? We'll have to climb because my dad has the bungalow. So but then because it's so tall, then we'll climb, we'll put our head out and be looking at people that are playing ball, we'll be doing something, we look like this, you understand? And I was like, it was so cage for me. So and I said, okay, I was the only one they could let out to go out to buy something. But then when they're not around, they will have to throw the key inside. But when they're around, I'm the only one they send out. Like, okay, you go buy stuff. Follow uncle this person, follow brother. I was the only one that could go out of the house following any uncles, the people working under my dad again. Because they had their own section. So I always follow them, and that's the time I'll just be looking, seeing things, and I'm like, okay. I love my just follow my siblings. Like I was the second, not the first child, the second child. Then my dad gave me this and treated me like his son because I grew up like a tomboy. So this man he was grown, very grown. Like, more than
you were 7. So
like he's so tall, like man. When he gave me the money, so I collected it and I gave it. Of course they got their water and all that. And then he will come time to time. He'll just be buying some chicken, go inside and then I'll show my siblings and put in that. This uncle is giving more than the money for the price for the water. Of me, I want to just my mom. I'll tell me like, mom, she just Oh, but then my dad was my gist partner. Though then he always travels. My dad, if he comes back, I'll start from Genesis to Revelation of what happened at home. But then that period, like 1 year plus before he came back, he was traveling.
He wasn't always there.
He was not there. And then my mom on the other hand was not there.
Yeah.
Just in that for that kind of, you should not even put here, you should just be doing stuff. So the man got my attention. He started doing some funny things like open your pants, let me see your breast. I don't even have a breast.
You were so small, you were like 7.
And then I was wondering, and then I was like, okay. And then we already had the porn that we're always watching.
Yeah.
Like I got addicted to it because every time my siblings stopped watching. But then me, I didn't. Girl, please, I'm not looking. I'll be wondering what to do. But then there was nobody there that was watching that. Because obviously they're always drinking inside. So nobody, if anybody would knock or would bring key, would have disconnect, like remove, off. And then I already knew how to turn on the generator. I already knew some things. So then I'll just turn it on. My start when my parents just 6 o'clock, like we have a timetable for them coming back. My mom to 6 o'clock, like you know that we just start disconnecting and all that. So nobody knew and we're not saying it. And then they were not allowing us to watch movies with them of such. Those children movies and all that. They never talked about this, sexual thing. You understand? We had to learn that from what we watched.
So with everything, the man that you talked about, did he ever touch you? Did he do more than just telling you, putting your pants, opening your boobs that you obviously did not have at that time? Did he do more?
Yeah, he did. He started inviting me to the uncomfortable building, the house we were constructing.
Oh, wow.
At first I was scared, but then someone called and I just went because somebody that is obviously always coming forth. Before then, I started dating outside, like for him to see my body, like I could feel his presence. Like if I'm outside and he's at that bowl, because that bowl have this extension whereby if you want to buy water, you knock and but somebody did not answer, you can put your head and talk and shout, "Who is here?" You understand? So if he does that, he'll put his head and then I'll feel his presence. And then I'll just start, doing the certain things, carrying bucket, like I want to bath outside. I just started removing my clothes and all that. And then he invited me to that I should come and collect my money. He stopped paying me my money. Then he gives me more than the actual amount.
When he comes to get water, he stopped paying
me.
Okay.
Stop paying me. He just said, come and collect. And then I was scared of going, but then I now told my mom that this man is going on so amount to that we should go and collect it or something. And then all those my uncles and those people working under my dad, they were not around. They all come for their off and all that. So my cousins, like my mom's sister who was around them, none of them come back to school. So my mom was very busy too. She was handling my mother's bad business. So she was just paying attention. So she was like, you can go. So that period I decided to just go now. Like, okay. So when I went there, he just looked at me. He was not putting on any shirt, he was shirtless, and his hair were just all over like there. I hate guys with hair.
So sorry.
I totally hate. I get so
irritated.
yes. Yeah. So he had hair over his chest, and he just dragged me in a corner and told me I should sit down. Got me a seat, and then he pulled off his clothes, and then I started looking at him. I thought he wants to do something. He was like, "No, I'm not doing anything to you. I'm not touch you. Just sit down." So me, I already had something I already washed, so I just said, "Okay, I think it's one of the things. Just sit down." And he pulled off his clothes and he started putting soap all over his hand with water, and then he brought out his whatever, and then he started checking on himself. He checked himself till he came. At first I was opening my body small. He would just tell me do like this, do like that. He checked on himself till he came, and he was always satisfying himself like that.
So it's always happened?
When it continuously happened like that. Sometimes I would miss him when I'm sleeping. So when I went back to school, when the all resumed, as like I started
wanting to
always see it, and then I started talking to my other boys, like, do you know this? Do you know that? I started telling them about the movie porn, like literally if one of my mates then in school wondering, they're looking at this clip right now, they would remember those sort of people, they'll remember that clip. I kept telling them that clip over, like I won't tell them a story, I'll just kind of tell them, and they wanted to hear. And it doesn't, when it didn't dawn on me about, like when it dawned on me like, okay, this is wrong, this is so, I got addicted to watching live sex.
Okay.
So yes, even when I entered,
so that's how it affected you.
Yes,
you got addicted
to watching live sex. When I entered school, I always wanted people to just
watch people have sex.
Yeah. So so one of the guys that my close friend did not find that funny. They were just talking like something wrong somewhere, there's something wrong somewhere. But then they arrested the man actually. But then I was then when I was
at that time you were already scared too.
And I was like I was swearing for the person that arrested him, because I wanted to see more. Like I was like, I wanted to see more.
Okay, so you were enjoying it when you were a child, yeah?
Yeah, I was a child, and then when I grew up, like I want to stop something. I couldn't stop it. And then I'll just jokingly say it to them, and then I'll tell them I'm just being serious. I want to watch you guys. Then something sounding creepy, because they'd be like,
yeah, it's very creepy.
What the hell? So I started losing friends. Some guys just started avoiding me. Actually, female, like they literally like, it's creepy. So I rather had male friends than female friends. So they were the ones, the guy friend, like some particular guy, like he was always there. He was just talking to me like, you can go past this, you can always. And I didn't tell them, like I didn't say what really happened. So recent, I told a couple of friends, females actually.
Okay, so you never talked about it at all
I
to
never talked about
anybody?
it. Apart from
Never.
the few people that I just, I just
Yeah.
say it about, I just talk about how I just want to watch. And then they'll just look at me like, what's that?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong? Then they don't know the deep part of what happened that made me like that.
Sure.
So, and I spoke to, I just what happened this Owa, hashtag Owa justice for Owa started. So me and my friends, we're just sitting down, we're just talking about it, and I was like, sometimes rape doesn't have to be physical. Some people go to psychological rape and you don't even know about. And then they were like, and then I just found myself telling them, I was like, this guy just kept staying in front of me because there sometimes I always have a glimpse of that happening. Like maybe sleeping, they'll just have a glimpse of that happen. Like heavy and how like irritated, like today I just find I'm like trying to control the fact that I don't like I feel heavy stuff on you. Like once like that literally freaks me out. Then I'll be like, maybe you want to do the same thing in front of me. And it really pained me so bad how I think I affected people because then the man affected me. I had to affect my,
I understand. So like right now, do you still feel the same way? Do you have regrets? Do you? I
have so many regrets having to pass that to like other colleagues in school.
Yeah, your friends,
and all that. And I'm glad that maybe most of them who avoided me too. Yeah, because then I don't know what would have become of them too. And I had to talk to myself, and I had friends who supported me, like always take that green out of my head. But when I say that, they just laugh about it. They're like, no, you shouldn't do that. They talk to me. The way they talk to me sometimes, I go back and I'll be like, okay. And I think I have more self-control now than before. Like
so you, in your own words, you would say you're healing already.
Yes, I'm healing.
You're in the process there. You're walking through it, and it's working for you. So is there anything specific that you do, or anything that you say to yourself? Maybe you'd like to tell someone that probably has had a kind of experience you had. So maybe it will help.
Yeah, for me, I just think always listen to motivational talks. Like this motivational stuff, I do watch just listen to them. And I did tell myself one thing, that you know what your mind tells you are. Like my subconscious, then I'll just be picturing myself like, you're a psycho, man, there's something wrong with you. So there's nothing wrong with you. You're okay, you're perfectly fine. You just need to always be around people, especially people that would always motivate you, always talk to you and take that thoughts from your mind. You understand? So that was basically what I started listening to people. I started having conversations instead of always keeping quiet, like you say, you talk. So I just
always tell your story, tell somebody about what happened. Like there's no shame in it. Just it's happened to you. You're the victim, not the other way around. So it's good. It's a good thing.
I just think parents should please actually listen to the children. Like pay more attention. Like they're smarter than you think. Yeah. Like at that age, I'm sure my friends know about like I don't hear so much about that. You understand? Pay attention. Don't be an workaholic. Please always pay attention. Like it's the lack of attention that made what happened happen, and of course they're still going to be shocked. Like, okay, really, like.
And you should try keeping their movies away from where kids are. If you have any movie,
keep, man, just that clip busted my head.
I don't want to be mentioned. That added to your thoughts of everything. I'm pretty sure when you watched the porn, you were thinking, oh, okay, I'd like to try this. I can imagine, as a child, as a child, when you have that kind of thing, you want to do it. Anything you see, you want to always do it.
Practice.
You want to exactly. You want to practice it. So I understand where that idea is coming from. I'm really, really sorry that happened to you, and thank God that you're healing. You're getting better, and everything is working fine for you. And like she said when she talked about parents, please, as a parent, you should not neglect your child. You should try to listen to what that child has to say. I mean, it must not necessarily, because the child might be shy, might not be able to. You have that connection with your child. It's always good, so your child can tell you, okay, this is it. This is what I'm going through. This is what happened to me in school. This is what I went through. You know, it's always good to have that, because like she said, she didn't have that connection with her mom. Her dad was never around. So please try to make out time for your kids, and you know, try not to keep the porn, the blue movies and all that they call it. Try not to keep it where your child can reach it, because that affects a child. Unknowingly, she watched porn, and that brought an image to her head, and she started thinking of so many different things and all of that. So we've come to the end of today's show, and like I always say, if you have any problem, if you have anything you want to talk about, any traumatic experience you've ever had, always feel free, send a message or call. Send a message to our Gmail or call any of the hotlines. We are always available to receive whatever it is to listen, to hear whatever it is you have to say. Thank you so much for watching today's show. Goodbye.